In the news update for today, and of course, I know people, Paris is making fun of my tree. She says I need to take the tree down. I said, well, if you want to come over here and help me take it down, then I'll take it down. The reason why it's up is because I have sciatica in my leg and it hurts. And some days it feels good, but lately it hasn't felt good because I've had a lot of trouble in my apartment complex with some people. Most people here I get along with fine, just to give you a little some background. But with some of the people in here, they've been really hellish with me. One guy gives me a pill that's infested with bed bugs, and then my whole apartment gets infested. I had them for about 2 months. Finally, they got treated. There's still a little bit of activity in here, but they're going to come and finish it up, and hopefully, I hope they kill these suckers for good tomorrow. They're going to be here at 1 o'clock. So, yeah, see my tree is. So, Paris, if you want to come over here, sweetie, and help me take that tree down, please help me. And yes, I did cuss in that video one time, I think, because I was upset. And yes, I am a preacher, and I should not have cussed. You're exactly right. And I won't be cussing anymore. So, you know, I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me, because I am human and I did mess up. So, the thing is, you must be somebody that I know. You say, I mean, I know you're on my thing, and you must be somebody that I know, because you joke about my tree, and you do make jokes but not make fun of me. So you must be somebody that's familiar with me. Like, like, you sure you're not my niece Beth Ann Shields using a different name? Because you sound a lot like the way she would get around, but under a different name. Or, I mean, but if you're real, why don't you come on over here and help me take down this tree and help me do some stuff around here? Because I could sure use some extra set of eyes and hands and feet. But it just it's been really rough over here. People trying to make up stuff, trying to get you out of here. Another thing that happened in the news with the neighbors here is that I looked outside because I kept hearing Barbara go in and out of her apartment about 4 times last night between 9:52 to 10:15. And I kept hearing her with the keys, and she was standing outside my door like she was listening. And I couldn't figure out why in the world she was out there. So I opened up my door, and it looked like somebody took her mat and leaned it up against her door. But so what she did is she left it there outside her door, just the way it was. But she went in and outside of her apartment several times and still left it there. I guess she's hoping to maybe she'll be able to find evidence or something. I don't know, but it looks really weird why she left it that way, because to me, I wouldn't want to leave it that way if somebody did it. I would just move it back and just laugh it off. I wouldn't worry about it. But whoever did it, must have been a teenager, because there were some teenagers out there earlier this evening, and maybe they had a little run-in with her earlier, and they didn't like what she said to them or something, and maybe they retaliated. I don't know. But I tell you, I don't like her, but I don't mess with her stuff. And that's one thing, I'll tell you the truth. I did not mess with her mat. She might think I did, but I really didn't. Honestly. But I did see it out there when I opened the door, when I heard her going in and out the door, and she was making comments about, well, he thinks he's under surveillance now. He hasn't seen surveillance yet. She made that comment. Then she went, out there in the hallway. And, I know he did this. And I did not do it, honestly, folks. I mean, I don't like her. We don't get along. But, I still pray for her soul and her heart every night. I hope she does come to the Lord. I don't think she knows the Lord. That's why she's so hard to get along with. Why she causes me trouble from time to time. But, I looked out there after she was going in and out of her apartment about 4 times. And I saw the mat the way it was. And I just kind of put 2 and 2 together. Somebody must have did it because they don't like her either. Somebody retaliated, like one of the kids in the neighborhood or something. Because, when Lucille was here, we used to have a bird bath that was in the back of this building, behind our building here. It was a nice bird bath. But the water part where the water goes, it was loose. Well, sometimes kids would come and take it off of there and slam it down on the ground real loud. And they thought it was really funny. It would end up scaring Lucille to death. And they would sometimes bang on her windows and then run. Well, it's kind of like what they did with the mat here. And apparently when my camera's not going to pick it up, because they didn't go on my side to trigger it. So they must have went up the back way. And people go up the back way, it's on her side, so it's not going to trigger my camera in the door, in the peephole, unless she's in front of my door. or anybody goes in front of my door. It triggers it. But if they go on her side, it doesn't. So that's what they did, and I don't think they knew that. I think that's just what they did because they went up the back way. That doesn't trigger the camera. But if you come up the front way, you always have to go by my door, so it triggers it. And a lot of people do trigger it. So I see a lot of people going in and out of her apartment a lot, on the camera. But this time when they did the prank, somebody came up the back way where the woods is. They have steps going back towards the woods and the backyard area of the apartments here, and somebody must have did that. That's why I didn't trigger the camera. And I cooperate with Kristen any way I can, but I didn't do it. So, but it's just that kind of hysteria. She's always thinking somebody's out to get her, or always thinking somebody's doing something. And a lot of times they're not. It's just all in her mind, a lot of it. But this time somebody did do something, but it had to have been a child. Because, there's nothing I would get out of it by doing something like that. So, I don't get along with her, but I still wouldn't do that. We've been living here for 7 years across from each other. And even though she's been tensive and all, I would never do something like that. So, but at any rate, that's just what happened tonight. And I was wondering why all the doors and why she was outside the door a lot, in and out, and making comments and stuff out in the hallway and stuff. And I just kind of played the audio of it back and listened to it. And I saw her in front of the door, and it triggered the camera with her saying comments and stuff. And I figured, when I looked out there, opened the door and looked at her mat and saw it like that, it just looked weird. But anyway, I just hope they find out who did it. And I hope that they, I just hope that she can just fix her mat and not worry about it. Because the kids are out of school, and the kids often mess with a lot of stuff in the apartment complex, even with doormats or anything that isn't, inside. They won't mess with it because that's what teenagers do every summer. They're always messing with stuff around here in the hallways and stuff. So that's why you shouldn't leave stuff outside in the breezeways, or even if it's a doormat. So, that's basically what's going on. But anyway, I want to tell you some other things. Facebook is censoring people who talk about Islamic terrorism. And so if you have that in your description and all, they're going to censor your post. And they're doing this with everybody, folks. So I want to talk about other things in real news. So, what happened? There was over 73 people. There were 73 people that they know that were killed. I waited a while to get the final tally of what they had. And over several hundred were injured. There was a truck that rode in Nice, France, into a crowd of people who were having were celebrating their Independence Day, like we have 4th of July. On the 4th, that's when they had their 4th of July last night. When it happened this afternoon, it was 1 o'clock in the morning there, and they were having their fireworks, and some truck coming there armed with explosives, and it blew up and killed over 73 people and injured several hundred. And that's what happened in Nice, France. And a lot of this stuff has been kind of blocked and all, and it was definitely terrorism. And we don't know if it was ISIS or it was another gang, but the investigation is ongoing. That's what we get from intel and sources on the ground and people that I know in the government of stuff that I can release. And it's really a shame, but we're going to have more of these if we don't, close our borders. It's like France has got the same problem like we have. They have no border, just like the United States doesn't. And like a lot of other countries don't have borders around the world that are part of the New World Order paradigm. And so, like I said, if you don't have no borders, then these engineer attacks or these things are going to come in because the people that are coming into these borders aren't being checked or vetted. They're not being checked to see if they're criminals, a terrorist, or anything. Anybody can come through our country just like anywhere else where they don't have borders, like in France and London and all. And, they get what they deserve. If you don't have a border, they don't have no way to check it. This is exactly what happens as a result. That's why I say a country without borders. I was talking to a fellow Marine, I won't say his name, around here locally, and he agrees with me. He says a country should have borders. I like him because he understands that. And I think we need to get back to that. And I also think a lot of Marines feel that way, which I think is wonderful because that's the way they should feel. Because a country should have borders. A country cannot be secure or safe without a border. And I'm not talking about just the